Hey, it's me, Marv. I got some really exciting news, and that is I'm going to start a new project. That project is redrawing this kid's book that I did back in college. I'm going to do it from cover to cover and remake this whole book. When I'm done with this whole project, the digital copy I'll give away for free. And if I can, I'll definitely get a few copies printed. I don't know if I can get this book published, but I can at least make a few of my own. I'm going to go ahead and tell everyone the backstory of this whole book. Pretty interesting, and how I landed on this, and try to share a little bit my thought process of how I actually think when I create my own pieces of work or my drawings or my doodles. This was back in 2009, 2010, when I took a course for 2 semesters, and that was children's book illustration. I took this course after I switched my major from illustration and fine arts to graphic design. And in my first semester of taking this course, I really just kind of learned the fundamentals and the whole process of making a book from scratch. And then in the second semester, I really wanted to challenge myself and make this nice piece of artwork and also make it a custom die cut book too. And also wanted to see if I could make a book without any words, and also make a book based off of the simple shapes like circles, squares, and triangles. And this is the kind of book I created. And then there was this Mountain Dew can that I had. Back then, they used to do these specialty cans that were all metal and hire artists to cover them. And then you could actually view all those artworks at greenlabelart.com. The artwork on this can is called Happy Heads, and the artist was Mark Smith. And he actually wrote this book, I believe. If not, he's the mastermind with how this book was going to be put together, because how it's put together is very unique. And up until this point, I never saw anyone do a book like this. And the way it was put together is that each of these groupings of heads made up its own little page. Each page was a different shape of group of heads, and as you turn the page, you're peeling back more and more heads, and you get to the last page and it's just a head in the middle. And the whole book, the whole premise of the book, if I remember, was about trying to find yourself. I never got a copy of the book, but if I find the book or I find any more information about Mark Smith or the book itself, I'll definitely post it down below in the comments. If you guys ever heard of the book or seen the book, please let me know in the comments below. I really wanted to take this concept and build off of it and really put my own spin to it. So now at this point, I have 3 unique elements that I'm going to try to force into a book. And that was custom shape pages and trying to use simple shapes to build out the whole book. Then try to use no words to tell a story. Now it may sound like I have a well put together outline before I actually start drawing and like I'm really well prepared for my class. That wasn't the case at all. I had all these different ideas. I didn't know how to bring them together, nor did I understand that all these ideas could actually work together. I didn't figure that out until I accidentally put myself in a situation where I was forced to think on my feet. And the reason I say this is because I showed up to my class an hour and a half late with no supplies. I had no pen, no paper, I had nothing. I showed up an hour and a half late because of my recklessness and my poor decisions. And the professor was nice enough to cut me some slack and say, hey, if you can at least come up with some kind of an idea or some kind of concept for a book for your project, I won't give you a 0 for the day. So I ended up walking out and I went to the photocopier. I took a stack of paper and I sat down in the corner and I started drawing each page by hand. I just started drawing each page with ballpoint pen and the Xerox paper that I took from the printer. I sadly don't have the originals. With every single drawing that I did, I went and photocopy it, came back to my desk, and cut it out with an X-Acto. I would draw the next page, photocopy it, cut it out with an X-Acto, and I repeat that process until I got to the end. But the original ballpoint drawings, I have no idea where they went to. But I at least have this copy here to show you my working concept that I presented. And by lunch, when I went out for my lunch, I already had the green light to go ahead and move forward with this concept. I was surprised that the teacher said this was a good idea. She was really impressed with what I showed her in the amount of time that I had, and also helped me throughout the process of how I could actually, put this project together. And now let me tell you about the characters. The 2 characters in this book and the whole story of this book, I came up with that after I had this concept. Because I sat on the train, I sat around thinking about what I'm going to call them, what I'm going to call my characters. I had no idea. And I ended up calling them Mike and Ty. And the whole book was going to be called Mike and Ty's Adventures. Now, the reason it's called Mike and Ty's Adventures because if you look at Mike and Ty's, it's an M and a T. So if I were to shorten that, it would be MT Adventures. MT Adventures is a play on when, every child, when they go out with their parents or everyone talks to a kid, they sound like they have an adventure for the whole day. Like anything that they do is very animated. They tell you with great detail, and they tell you everything that doesn't really matter. The fact that they went out to the grocery store and ran errands with their parents, that's like a big adventure. But in actuality, it's just running errands. So I wanted to play, off of that with every adventure for a child is not as empty as it is for us. We go and run errands. We see it as like it's us running errands, but we bring a little one with us. They're going to see it as like a big adventure. They're going to go and tell everyone about it. They're very animated. That's kind of the premise of why I called it MT Adventures, or Mike and Ty's Adventures. As you can see, this book's not really put together. I never finished it because I wanted to do a Japanese style bindery on this book, but I never left enough edging on this side for the bindery to happen, because if I bind it like this, you can never open the book and the gutter becomes too large and it's not usable. So now if I do this again, I wouldn't go this way. I'd actually just print it on a thick heavy cardstock and then actually just spiral bound this, so that way you could just turn the pages all the way around. And then in this Japanese style of bindering that I wanted to do, you typically bind the open side, and the folded side, that's the side that you turn. It's just backwards to how we do it here in America and Western culture too. And this is just a quick overview of this project. And my starting point is going to be the characters, and actually sizing out the book to make sure I can find a good size for this, and then probably just roughing in all the other pages. But I'm going to document every step of this project, and I'll post updates here on the channel and everywhere else too. And I would love to hear anyone else's feedback on this project as I'm working on this too, if you have any tips or tricks for what I'm doing. And if I learn something new, I definitely would love to share it with you guys too. And if you want to stay up to date with this project, please follow me on all my social media platforms at No Effort Art. And if you want to stay up to date with this and anything else, please subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. And until next time, I'll see y'all. Bye.